In Genesis, we learn that the unformed and chaotic universe somehow has an ear, because its first action is to listen to the voice of God. God commands light, and the cosmos hears and obeys. 6 days into the making of this listening world, God created the first humans, and their first act was to hear the blessing to populate the earth. Yet somewhere along the way, we stopped listening. We would rather speak than assume the listening posture of a servant. But I wonder, what have we missed out on by not listening? So today we declare, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening."
What if we, instead of coming to church to be preached to, came to church to be heard? What if the church was known less as speaking about what we are against, and more as a place where you were listened to? Now, one of my dreams for the church is that we would be known as the community that listens. I remember when Pastor Jim first arrived at our church a few years ago. Do you remember the first thing that he did? He set up dinners at the parsonage, where all kinds of people were invited to come and share with him their perceptions of the church. The sole purpose was simply for him to ask questions and listen. I learned a lot from that experience. It was great to see a leader who listened first. It was a way of showing openness, humility, and a submission to the Holy Spirit speaking through the church as a whole. That is why I believe that great leaders are also great listeners, because it is through listening that they show love and respect for all people. In James chapter 2, verses 2 through 4, he warns us about listening to people differently. He talks about one man who comes to a meeting wearing fine clothes, and another one who comes wearing filthy and old clothes. He goes on to say, don't listen differently to the one who is wealthy than you do to the person who doesn't have much. That is what a great church does. It listens to all people, regardless of their backgrounds, their economic status, their gender, or the color of their skin. Great churches listen well. And I think that the world around us needs to see a church that listens well now more than ever. Think about the world around us. Many in our culture today find themselves retreating into echo chambers. The only voices they listen to sound just like theirs. Americans are increasingly subdivided into neighborhoods where they are surrounded by people who think, act, and vote just like they do. Our country is becoming more and more polarized. In many ways, we're not turning a deaf ear toward those with different perspectives. We're just engineering our lives in such a way that we don't have to listen to them in the first place. But the church has the potential to be different. I know that within the walls of our church, we have people who do not agree with each other. We have some people who are liberal and others that are conservative. We have some who have different opinions on same-sex marriage, differing opinions on immigration, differing opinions on a whole variety of topics. I often see people who I know have vastly different opinions talking to each other on Sunday morning. On one side, I smile that they can come together. But on the other, I cringe, and I hope certain topics just don't come up. Needless to say, we will not have communities who listen as long as people fear punishment for possessing alternative opinions. The only thing that unites a church is love. Love flowing between us and through the power of the Holy Spirit. When we listen to one another and give permission to be our own person, think our own thoughts, that's when we truly love one another. But great churches don't just listen inside their walls, although that's a great place to start. But great listening also has ears outside its walls. Scott McKnight once said that the most effective Christian communities are those who have ears to the ground. And he's right. In order to actually love our neighbors, we also have to listen to them and know who they are. And that leads us into our practice for the day. Michael Matta, the Urban Development Director for World Vision, teaches people to go on a neighborhood walk. It is a practice where a group of people come together for the purpose of listening for the story that their community is telling. You walk together through a neighborhood and ask questions and simply notice what's going on. Here are some example questions that they ask. Is there a sense that people are welcome here? Are there sidewalks? Are there bars on the windows or high gates? What billboards do you notice? How many people are living in the average home or apartment? Listen to what language people are speaking. Do you hear babies playing, or are they crying? What kind of vehicles do you see? What are the ages, ethnic backgrounds, socioeconomic status? And who are the authority figures? And is their presence welcome or unwelcome? But also, listen for signs of hope. Listen for the resources, the gifts, the possibilities or strengths of the community. Listening to our communities will involve grieving and identifying with their pain, but also finding signs of hope. Listen to your neighborhood. They are telling you how to heal them. Mother Teresa once said, "Help one person at a time and always start with the person nearest to you." So wherever you are, listen and prepare to be changed by what you hear. As we conclude our series on listening, thank you for joining us. I know that if you commit to listening, you will find that listening speaks in ways far more powerful than words ever could. 10,000 true and beautiful words cannot convey love like unhurried listening. Listening to ourselves and to others is a true gift. It is a gift from God to us that a holy God actually longs to listen to us. It is a gift to others, an open invitation to receive whatever they choose to share with us. So I leave you with one last question. Will you embrace the gift of listening?